Hey everybody, thanks for joining us here today on 20 Sides to Every Story. We're going to get started here with some more of our Dolmenwood campaign, which we are playing through using the old school Essentials game system. I'm Alex, I am the game master for this session, and I am joined here by Winston playing Silver the Elf, Issac playing Friar Fitzpatrick, Moreen playing Lillibeth the Hunter, Chris playing Thomas the Minstrel. We are without our brave Sir Geoffrey this morning, so Ryan will not be joining us this morning, but we will just have their character kind of fade into the background and they will still be a part of the story and accompanying the party. But today we are very excited to get back. This is our first game since the Kickstarter went live, and it looks like Dave is saying that he saw on Facebook that Dolmenwood just crossed over the $1 million mark. It's only been like 3 days since the campaign launched, so that's amazing. That's awesome, and very excited about that. If you haven't checked it out already, definitely go and check out their Kickstarter page. I think as we get started here, maybe I'll have us all do character introductions real quick just to kind of reintroduce who we are and who the characters are. And then I will give a little brief synopsis of what we are currently doing. And let's start with Winston.
Yeah, so I'm Winston. I'm playing an elf named Silver upon his brow. He goes by Silver for short. Elves in Dolmenwood kind of go by epithets for their names. His real name is actually secret. And he has been displaced from the land of fairy. Was kind of in like a rut, just sort of but he's 170 years old. He's lived several different lives already. Kind of been working on this epic poem that he wanted to write and just really got nowhere. And so when the Nag Lord raised his village, or his town actually, he basically took his opportunity to travel to the mortal realm for the first time. So this is actually his first adventure outside of the land of fairy, first time kind of, leaving out into the unknown, great unknown. And he really is primarily motivated by just experiencing adventure. And so he's already written the first leg of his epic poem, which is the Winter's Daughter. And we basically played that module. And so that's kind of like he's pinned the story of that module in our in my world anyways, or in his mind, and is just looking to kind of go on to the next piece.
Thank you. Let's move next to Issac.
Hello, I am playing Friar Fitzpatrick. He is the older brother of our knight that we have with us, Sir Geoffrey. Fitzpatrick started off, well, he was from a noble house, kind of left that house and decided to go on the road and kind of profess his religion. He doesn't agree with all the politics of the actual church. So he's a bit an outlier as far as even someone that practices the faith or teaches the faith. As far as what's going on now, the friar has had time to recollect kind of what the party has done so far, and maybe he's seeing the party a bit has slightly kind of give up some things, maybe some of their morals, more for the sake of if gold's involved, then it's worth it. And Friar by no means is a square, he likes to party and do things like that probably aren't becoming of a priest. But he, at the same time, after reflecting, he wants to make sure that he upholds his morals, and he wants to leave places better than he found it. So that's kind of where he's at the moment.
Awesome. And let's go next to Moreen.
I'm Maureen. I am playing Lillibeth. She is a human hunter. Characteristically, at one point in time in her life, she had a lot of long, curly red hair, which she lost in the very first part of this journey. Pretty bouncy normally, and a little bit hyperactive, but also deeply wary of people. She became a hunter after being a scribe, and she picked this up apparently while she was in prison with everybody else except for Silver upon his brow, where we met Sir Cyrus. As a character in the game right now, she shares some of the friar's skepticism about the motivations of the group. She is deeply attached to everybody, though, because for the first time in her life, she's really part of a group of people who are not trying in some way, shape, or form to take advantage of her or what she can do. So coming here right now to Merrow's Farm seems like a good thing to do, something that will actually make people's lives better. And the reward for this is not completely secondary, but it's a good thing. That said, really, truly, Lillibeth is still motivated by what's good for Lillibeth.
Awesome. And then lastly, let's hear from Chris.
Good morning. I am Chris. I'm playing Thomas, second level human minstrel. He had his original backstory is being a little bit of a, I suppose, more of an adventurous, an innately adventurous type. Being a minstrel, kind of tootled around and did a bit of womanizing and playing music, and just kind of staying on the go. He had come across some forbidden information dealing with Dolmenwood stones that landed him in the jail that kicked this whole thing off, being chosen by Sir Silas to hunt down Marjoram Driver. I believe that was her name. And he's, I guess his general sense, like I said, he's more of a rapscallion type, is not afraid to be on the opposite side of the law if need be. He has come to care a lot for the people that he is traveling with. And, adventures are not just written, they're lived. So he's kind of was using all of this as fodder for chronicling this. He was able to actually utilize the Dolmenwood stones, which is something that has really interested him. So his next big goal is to see ourselves to this castle that we had witnessed, utilizing the scrying from the Dolmenwood through the stones. And really, at this point, everything is a stepping stone to get there. So
Awesome. So that is the cast for the game. We are picking things up at dusk on the 30th of Chisting, which means it's probably like 9:30 p.m. 10 at this point. It's a balmy summer evening. The sun setting and the darkening of the sky provides a little bit of relief from the sweltering heat, but you are all finding yourself at Merrow's Farm, and it has been alluded to by some of the introductions here. You're all doing this at the bequest of the Burkmaster of Lankshorn, who you went to some lengths to try to get a private audience with him and the sort of council that seems to like run the show in Lankshorn, or at least be advisory to the true ruler of the land, or administrator of this area, which is Lord Malbleed. And so you're trying to curry some favor, it would seem, partially maybe to earn a paycheck, but also because you can kind of get a double paycheck in the case here if you curry favor with him and act as sort of a liaison between the Burkmaster and Madam Shantywood's agent. I believe his name was, what was it? Seartel Thistlebrook. So you have come out here to Merrow's Farm. You met with this kind of crabby, very crotchety old man who is out here and has observed this corrupted unicorn, at least from afar, slaughtering some of his goats and his livestock. You all had approached him. He's very superstitious. Well, maybe not superstitious, but sort of, he's got a lot of thoughts and strong feelings about fairy creatures. And so you had to do a little bit of work to get him to accept Silver being on his land and dealing with this situation, but you managed to kind of allay his prejudices. And now you are in the midst of making your plans for how you're going to approach dealing with the corrupted unicorn should it appear here tonight. So I will leave you to commencing such planning, and then you let me know when you would like to advance time and see if anything happens here tonight.
you said it was about 9:30 p.m.
Yeah. Yep. So it is evening. The stars are out in the sky and it is dark. I think most of the reports that you have heard suggest that the thing shows up maybe around like midnight or after midnight. You probably got a few hours yet, if it is to show up.
But you fought something like this before, right? Back at the old Madame Shantywood's town. I can't remember the name of the town. I wasn't there
Dreg.
personally. So.
Yeah.
Drag.
Yes, it was a humanoid creature with a unicorn head.
Sounds corrupted to me. Extra corrupted.
Extra corrupted.
So any advice? What did you do? Did you trap
Oh.
it? Did you snare it, trick it?
Not intentionally, but that's not a bad idea. We basically ran into it thinking it was a injured companion, which it absolutely was not. But trap sounds really good. And I think we know enough about it to at least know where it gets into the goat shed. And maybe we could ambush it too. So both have a trap and an ambush. Two different things.
I believe previously we sent the wizard first.
I notice he's not with this.
That's correct.
Yes, we did not have a great experience in that encounter. Very tragic.
Just so that I remember correctly, was what poisoned Sir Silas, correct?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
So-
what I'm.
I think the friar would bring that up. And actually, it did have a bit of power that required healing that I am not capable of, or given the power by the one true God. I don't know. I mean, it could be a deadly encounter.
But didn't we get another vial of that cure, or did we use it all already?
I believe we used it.
Oh, dang. I thought we still had it. That makes the trap a little bit more dangerous.
Well, where did you secure this cure? Who provided
Madam
it for you?
Shantywood. Madam Shanty.
That was
Oh,
to speak
yeah.
of leverage and whatnot beforehand. She had leverage over us.
Understood.
But we do not know if that is what we are up against now. Either way, keeping a distance might be best.
And it seemed that this creature's very presence was corruption. It was in the basement of a smokehouse, and his presence was corrupting the meat, which was
Ooh, we
turning
didn't
everybody.
ask the farmer about that, did we?
Correct.
Oh, well,
Could explain his attitude. I have a feeling that's how he always is.
well, certainly with elves, he really did not like you.
Just for my general kind of understanding, as you're talking and such, is the idea that you're out in the goat pen, like maybe actually within the goat pen?
I think that's what our plan was, yeah.
Yeah, my thoughts are kind of, we're like scoping out the situation, just kind of like maybe from there, just like talking and trying to like settle on the plan. Now, this goat pen, Alex, for our purposes, it's kind of the way it's shown on the map here, right? So just like an open pen.
Yep, open pen. There's like a little bit of a shelter, but it is easily accessible. Like there's no doors or anything to close that off.
Right.
Just a place where like the water pen is, and like any extra feed and things like that might be kind of locked up out of the goat's reach, and the goats maybe take shelter under there when the sun is extra beaming down.
Such as
But then there's a
day,
gate
yeah.
off to the east, and then you can see the makeshift repair job on the fence that presumably had something to do with the unicorn maybe trampling out that way, or something
Okay.
broke it down and it was repaired.
Well, Lillibeth,
Yeah.
I would think you are the most knowledgeable, being a huntress. This creature seems to be predatory in nature. If we were to set a trap or position ourselves, what would you say would be the proper approach so as not to, I guess, let it know that we are around?
Well, you're probably not going to like this, but this is what I think we should do. I think we should take what time we have to sort of like dig a pit trap and then cover it up with like existing goat feces and bad straw so that it covers up our smell. And then I think, because that always works, because we don't want it to smell us. And then I think we need to test the wind direction, and at least one of us needs to be like ready to shoot it from afar, which would be me, and standing someplace out of the direction of the wind. Of course, we're going to have to be really, really careful to sort of like keep track of that while we're doing this. And I think hiding with the goats is another really good thing, because I guarantee you goat smell will definitely mask anything that we might smell like, unless, I don't know, Silver, maybe you have a special smell because you're an elf. And other than that, that's what I think we should do. But I think we should pretend as much as possible like we're not here, and that we surprise it as it sort of like goes after the goats.
The friar is gonna just look at you and say, "Just tell me where to stand."
Well, with the goats. I mean, with the goats, and
Okay.
you know, bring a nose, just breathe through your mouth, and then at least somebody has to help dig. I have the shovel.
I can give you a hand.
Okay.
So Geoffrey, give us a hand.
Yes, that sounds like a good
Mhm.
idea. Keep him from wandering off and doing something, God knows what. Okay.
Falling in love with a goat.
Yeah, very possible. So
All right. So you're sorry. What is it that you were moving?
we're just digging a hole by the repaired section
Got
of
it.
the fence, and then covering it up with straw, you know, and sort of like making it not very visible.
Gotcha. So kind of like a little bit of a snare trap should it come
Yep.
through that way. Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. So it'll take you, probably a good 30 minutes or so to dig the hole and get it all covered and perfected and everything like that. Other things that you are
I'd actually like to climb up on top of the pen and not be in with the goats, because that will give me a lot better range and mobility for shooting down.
sure. So no check required to do that. Someone can give you a boost. You can very easily get up onto the roof of the goat pen. It's not like you probably feel a little bit of unease, like the structure, kind of wobbles a bit, but it's not good. You don't feel like it's going to imminently like collapse just from your weight, but you just got to kind of steady yourself. And are you going to get like down into kind of like a sniper's position almost? Cool. So we got Lillibeth is up on the roof of the goat pen. Where are the rest of you wanting to stand or be positioned?
I will intermingle in the goats underneath the pin, just kind of like crouch down, try to be like, covered in. And I'm gonna follow like Lillibeth's example and just rub goat manure and straw all over my armor and just try to like blend in.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll do the same, but I'll have my back up against one of the walls. I think he's gonna try to stay in the back. So.
All right. And how about Thomas?
I never thought I'd be rubbing goat manure on myself at any point in my existence, but I will go all in on that. And I suppose, is it possible to more or less sit in this corner under the did you see where I was pinging there?
I didn't, but like in the corner underneath the goat pen?
In the corner underneath the goat pen. Yep.
Sure.
Yep, right
Yeah,
I
you kind of
see.
snuggle in maybe behind like some hay or whatnot that is piled up there.
Food trough or something.
Yeah.
In the corner. And hide, more or less, and wait.
Sure, that sounds good. So it is dark out. So I guess a point of clarification, is there any kind of light source that you guys have? It's not that you would be blinded. It's not pitch black darkness, but you're really just relying on that little bit of light from the stars up above. So visibility is a bit of a challenge for probably all, but Silver's probably fine if the unicorn shows up because of infravision. But
Yeah, it is only what, like a really sliver of a moon right now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I do not have any kind of light source. I'm just hunkering back in the darkest of the dark, hoping that general human night vision will take over at some point to at least be able to make out something in the open area.
Sounds good. So I'm going to say, like, if you were to be in a combat situation right now with the visibility as it is, it'll be a -2 penalty on attack rolls for ranged. We'll make that just like a ranged penalty. If you're in melee with the thing and it's actively fighting you, we'll say no difference. But okay, so we feel good. We want to progress and see if anything happens.
I think so.
Yeah.
Roll some dice, and a couple of hours pass. Moon is like directly overhead. You're getting the sense it's probably about midnight or so, and you wait with bated breath. It is quiet. It is silent. There's not even the hooting of any owls or any wildlife. It's so still and quiet. And with as little light as there is, it's not a stark difference, but suddenly you are all blinded as like a darkness fills the goat pen, and Silver, you're probably whipping around looking, and with your infravision, you can see the outline of this form directly in the middle underneath the goat pen with a horn and 4 hooved feet. And it is, you can see its head and its attention is looking at, I'll make it random. We'll make it random who I'm picking on.
Oh gosh.
It's
And Alex, while
looking
you're
at
rolling-
you.
Oh my
Of
god.
course. And so you just feel, you could feel something churning. You could feel some magic is attempting to take hold of you. What is your thing for magic resistance again?
Oh yeah, I was just looking at that. So I have, as an elf, I have magic resistance, which means I am immune to sleep, and I get a +2 saving throws against charms and illusions, and I'm unaffected by paralysis, the paralyzing touch of ghouls.
Okay. I am going to... I don't think this checks any... It's basically trying to...
Explode me from the inside.
It's casting cause fear on you.
Okay. So your choice if that's a charm illusion or something other, and I will roll.
The charm, it gives you a +2, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say you get that. So this is going to be a save versus spell. And then so you can add a +2 to your roll.
So remind me on save versus spell. I know it doesn't affect anything. I'm going to roll it on the sheet. I have a 15. I want to roll lower than that, right?
Above on the saves.
Above it. Damn you, elf. Okay, here we go. Roll, roll, roll. Yes. Okay, so it's be a +2, be 20.
Okay, so you managed to resist that, but the rest of you have no idea what is going on. Like, you're effectively blinded. Silver is the only one that can see it and has a possibility of attacking it clearly right now. So, with that said, we're going to roll for initiative. So,
I would like to cast a spell.
declaring a spell, yes. Good.
Oh, smart.
Let's see. Who... Usually we have Geoffrey be the person. Let's have, since Friar is probably the spell... the person who's maybe casting spells, let's have you be the caller on this one, so you can
Okie dokie. Here we go.
roll to 6.
5.
It's really good we didn't use mine.
All right, so
What's incredible about that, Moreen, is it's a D6 for initiative, and you rolled a D20, which still would have been a terrible roll.
I was just checking to see what the dice roll would be. Sorry, guys.
It's like,
Oh no.
He's very ugly and freaky.
It's not pretty.
we don't want to be hit by that horn, I'm pretty certain.
so this creature is going to gallop and charge at the Friar. Maybe because it's starting to hear the prayer. It's going to try to attack you with its hoof. Oh no.
Oh no.
That's a 20 on the die. So you take 8 points of damage.
Oh my
You
god.
were like
Still
laying,
up.
you're like laying down in the straw, right? As you're like saying
Yeah.
this. So it just gallops over and just like brings its hooves down on you, and
Damn.
then it's going to try to hit you with the horn.
Not good. That's not good.
But with that, as it goes to it gallops on you, you're kind of wincing a bit. It goes to spear you, but you manage to roll out of the way. Unfortunately, your spell has been disrupted. I think maybe that's the first time we've seen this happen. Where
So,
the
do I
initiative-
lose it
you
or do I just not cast it?
Yeah, you
Okay.
lose it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is unfortunate because I was going to cast the light spell.
That's too bad.
So that will bring us to the party's turn. So we start things off with any movement. Basically, the unicorn is only in melee range of the Friar at the moment.
Yeah, I'll move that direction if it's movement range. Can we move to it?
You definitely can, because you can see it.
Yeah.
The
So I'm
rest,
gonna move to it and just say, "This way, to me!" Ah! I just charge up.
so just so the rest of you know, while blinded, in OSC, the attacks just automatically will fail.
Oh god.
So Silver has a chance of striking, but the rest of you do not currently.
That's not good.
I was going to cast a spell, so I can't move. Never mind.
Friar's in a bad way.
Very bad.
I can move,
I-
even if I can't do anything else, right?
So Lillibeth, you're hearing the commotion underfoot, within the pen. You're up on the roof.
And I still can't see because I'm magically blinded.
Yep, you are in the radius of the darkness. So you
I'm going to say an inch forward so I can grab the edge of the pen And then I don't even have to close my eyes. Just I'm keeping my eyes and ears as open as possible. And I'm going to try and drop off of the roof into the front of the pen. And based on what I can hear, hopefully behind whatever this thing is.
Okay, so you want to be close to the creature.
Not necessarily close, just behind it. So
Okay.
I don't know.
So-
Yeah. So if it's in this back corner, I'd probably be moving a little bit away from the noise, but towards the front and feeling my way towards the front of the shed and then dropping down to where I think Silver might be almost run into me if we have bad luck.
Okay, so after you drop off of the shed, you're moving like into the shed.
No, I'm definitely gonna be staying like outside of the edge of the roof. I'm not going to I'm just gonna drop at that point and then stand back up and try and get a bearing.
Okay, so you're cloaked in darkness as you drop down. How about Thomas?
All right. I mean, I know this is a bad idea, but not being able to see is a bad situation. I will stand up, draw my weapons, and I want to move, having stood here, move like straight out in between the poles, move to a point where I can see.
Okay, so as you start to move out towards the east, the eastern side of the pen, once you clear about 20 feet, you start to see like, okay, I'm out in the night sky again. And when you turn around, you just see this wall of darkness. And that's where you can kind of hear the battle or probably the cries of the friar in pain.
Okay.
Silver maybe kind of shouting out directions or telling you what he sees.
Yeah, and I will, I mean, more or less, at this point, I'll move out here and holler out that the darkness only goes 20 feet. Bring it this way. And that's it.
All right. So I think we will skip right to melee. Like Silver, you're the one that has a possibility of doing an attack here.
Yep, I'm gonna drop Alfheim on him. Might be the only time I ever get to swing this sword. So I'm gonna roll it in. I'm gonna roll it in the application in Foundry and just see how it plays. And if it doesn't go well, but if it is weird, we'll just adjust it.
Ooh.
So I don't know why it added other stuff. I guess that's the damage. Holy cow!
Yeah, that's
So
good.
21 to hit.
21 to hit, and then 12 points of damage. You swing that sword light as a feather, even though it is massive, and you manage to clip right into kind of its neck area. And you can kind of see as you hit the neck of this thing, it looks up at you, and you can see that its eyes are just bloody and bleeding off of its face. Its skin, its hair is all kind of greasy and matted and almost oozing with some kind of black ichor. And its horn is definitely crimson stained and has bits of dead flesh from where it's been ripping into these goats and such. And so you cleave into it, and you definitely have its attention.
Oh god! I'm like, run, Friar, run!
And that's the end of the round, and it is time for initiative.
All right. I retreat.
Okay, doing a melee withdrawal.
I'm a melee withdrawal, moving to Thomas's area,
Awesome.
or even a little bit further back. All right.
I rolled a 3.
4.
Okay, so with your half speed, you'll be able to get to pretty much right where Thomas is. So you're just on the edge of the darkness barrier.
Yo, Thomas, I'll be leaning on you. I'm there's a whole bunch of blood. I look pale. It looks really bad.
And I mean, as he comes, I guess we're kind of just doing, popcorn here or whatever. But as he moves, I move in front of him with my weapons drawn in protective stance, and just prepare that if anything besides Silver runs out, I will be attacking.
Sounds good.
And Lillibeth, of course.
Yeah, let's see where Lillibeth goes from here.
So I'll clearly realize I can't use my ranged weapon, so I am going to switch to the spear and try and, based on where the friar came out and where I can hear Silver, I'm going to go ahead and move in that direction with the spear out when we get to melee.
Okay, sounds good.
And just so I understand, I mean, I'm going to stay here because I'm a little worried the darkness emanates from the creature and it's not the darkness from a point. I might be wrong about that, but I'm not going to take a chance. But just so I understand rules going forward, if I had wanted to back up, I have to declare that before initiative rolls.
Yeah,
right?
that's a fighting withdrawal.
Okay.
Yep. And then
Okay.
then
That's
you're
different
locked.
than like
Then you're locked into
escaping.
that. That's the problem is like you're locked into it. So like
Right.
if you won initiative, then you were like, oh shit, I want to take like a quick swing at it. Then you can't do it, unfortunately.
Right. That makes total sense. Okay. Yep. Well, I will take a quick swing at it.
All right.
That's what I can do. All right. So yeah, anyone else doing range before? I guess they can't, right?
Yeah, no one would be successful even if they did. So
I just like dropped Alfheim rather on this creature, and I'm just gonna like I'm amazed by how light it is, and just enjoying the feeling of this sword. Even though to anyone who could see me, I would look like I'm drunkenly swailing it around because of the curse. But and I'm just gonna twirl it around and just try to come back for a second hit. And here we go. So I'm gonna use one of our rerolls. Thank you, Percy.
It's so nice to have those rerolls, huh?
Yeah, it may not matter, but I don't want a 1. So 12.
that one will miss, unfortunately.
Fuck. Okay, no worries. So I'm just so proud of it, and then I just swing right past his head, clip off the horn, and just don't even make contact.
And Lillibeth, you attempt to swing with the spear, but it just totally whiff. And then it is the unicorn's turn, and so it's got, of course, silver in its crosshairs. It's going to attack. So first, it will try to strike you with its hooves, and a 11 will miss. And then it's going to try to stab at you with the horn. First tries to gallop, and then it kind of backs up and then charges forward. Another 20.
Yeah, that'll hit.
So it is 6 points of damage.
So I'm down. So any effects I need to account for?
Nothing that we have to deal with just now, but you are down to 0. So you have to make a roll, I believe.
Yeah, we've been doing save against death, I think.
Save versus death.
All right. Oh God, my beautiful sword. I did. You know what? I got to swing it once, and it hit for a lot of damage. I'm proud. I'm proud of you, Silver. All right. Higher than a 13. Here we go.
There you go. All right.
Oh, okay. All right. And then we do like a D20 or something?
Yep, roll a d20.
All right. Cool. So for anyone who's watching, this is sort of a house rule, right?
It is a
What we're
house
doing,
rule.
like-
It's basically if a character drops to 0 hit points, rather than having them immediately die, they make a save versus death. If they succeed, they get to roll on this little table we've come up with, and they could roll on the table and they could still die anyway.
And a 19 is either good or bad.
Oh, what did you get? You got a
I got
19?
a 19.
Okay, you're gonna have a badass scar. There's no deleterious effect. It's no bad thing. It's just, a war story after this.
You're missing teeth. You're missing teeth. You got scars. You got a bad leg.
That's right. I've saved a lot. I've passed a lot of death saving throws.
Oh,
Now the problem is you just had your person that actually could see the thing has been downed.
Yeah.
So roll for initiative.
I'm gonna cast a spell.
Okay, sounds
beforehand.
good.
A 3.
All right, you win initiative. So we will first do any movement.
I'm going to move into the darkness because clearly I probably heard the thud.
So you're
And
in the darkness already.
I'm,
Yeah, like
am I already? So I should be able to. Can I see?
you can't because you're in dark. You're in pitch black magical darkness.
Great. Okay. Well, I'm going to. I'm
And
just going to.
you feel like you're in
melee.
danger.
Oh, I bet I am. Yeah. No, I'm hunting this thing. I'm going after it. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're remaining in there.
Yep.
Thomas.
I am currently still weapons out. I am protecting the Friar for anything that by chance comes out of the darkness. And I mean, at this point, I don't think there's hold actions or whatever, but seeing what he's doing, but offering him protection. So
Sounds good. And Friar is currently in the midst of casting a spell. So then we will move to, ranged, melee.
Melee.
So you're swinging with that spear, and there's no chance to hit it.
Does it even sort of like annoy it or in any way? Because
You
at
have
this
no
point,
idea.
Okay.
You have no idea. You can't see it, so you have no read on its demeanor or its disposition.
Alex, question, just so that we could kind of clarify what's going on with the darkness. Do we see the darkness kind of moving back and forth a bit, or is it stuck in one spot?
Roll a wisdom. Try to
Okay.
roll under your wisdom score.
Let's see. I did. I got a 7.
So you do just like a little bit.
All right.
Probably
So
got it. What's
Uh-huh.
going? So I think we will jump to the spell.
the friar kind of he's casting cure wounds. You would hear the prayer. He's casting it on himself currently because it's a touch spell. So he has to get
Wise.
to help. So, but we're gonna cast it on himself. So he's gonna give himself some hit points. All right, I have 2 extra hit points now. I rolled a 1. That's great. All right.
All right. The unicorn is focusing its attention on Lillibeth. Hooves, an 18 to hit. I presume that will hit Lillibeth.
Yes.
Okay. 8 points of damage.
Well, I'm down.
Lillibeth, were you level 1?
Yes, I'm still level.
Make a save versus death.
Okay,
Oh
so that-
no. We're gonna all come back as wood grew, Alex. This is your punishment.
Yes.
I'm down with that.
Okay, so that's not on here, so I just roll a d20. Okay, it didn't roll. Okay, here's hoping.
Here's hoping.
Yes.
Okay.
And then one more.
No.
This would be a D20, so 12.
Wait, what was the 17?
That was the death saving throw. Or that was the save
saving throw.
against.
Oh, I see what you're doing. You're rolling for the effect now. So you're 12.
Oh. Okay, so I should be pushing the death poison save. I did not do that. Okay.
Go ahead and roll a d6.
A d6.
This is probably how many fingers you lose or something.
All 6 of them apparently.
6. So your charisma score is reduced by 6. When the thing trampled on your face, it is actually like crushed bone material, such that your face is always going to be a little lopsided now after it heals.
No hair, so this is all. If I ever had any vanity, it's gone now.
Yes.
What was your charisma?
What was my charisma?
Yeah.
It was 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were. That's not so bad then. So you're down to an 8. That's like not terrible.
So
Now, people will still not walk next to me on the street, but kids won't run screaming.
Gosh.
I think Gabe just bought you a whole roll of rerolls. So you got 5 rerolls in the hopper there.
Okay.
Now I think we're at the point where we're going to be rolling initiative. And remember, with the game that you're playing, this is old school essentials. Sometimes running away is the best thing to do,
Yes.
right?
I am saying to the friar, fall back. I mean, I'm hearing
Yes.
my companions screaming and stopping.
Uh-huh.
So
I think we're both, yeah. And the friar would relay to you, like, the darkness moves with it. We have to get out. We have to move back. So yeah, we are moving back.
And destination, the Farmer Marrow's home, or yep. Okay.
yeah,
This is a big roll.
All right.
and we do have a reroll. Can we use rerolls on
Sure
initiative?
can. I will let you
All
use
right.
a reroll on that.
Yeah, because Alex just got a 6.
It's nasty. I got a 3.
I won't tell you what I got. Would you like to reroll that?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna play it mean.
I mean, it could be worse.
He probably rolled a 1 and he's just trying
He
to
sure did.
burn
Yeah.
you.
That's fine. Oh, cool. I got a 5.
I rolled a 4. You made the right choice. So
Yes.
the two of you go scrambling to the farmer's home. You barge in. You push in through the door, slam it shut. Farmer Marrow is still awake. There's just like a faint flicker of his lantern, his oil lantern lit, and he's sitting on the edge of his bed, and he's just like his palms are like gripping at his knees. He's very keenly aware of what was happening out in the goats area. He's got his pitchfork nearby. He doesn't say anything as you barge in. He just kind of looks at you, and you could just feel like he's a mix of steely grit, but there's fear behind those eyes. But he's prepared to defend his home.
I take it Sir Geoffrey is with us, right?
Yes.
I mean, he would have come with us.
Yep. We will just say he's with the survivors here and has charged in as well. Even if Ryan had been here, he would have been probably fairly impotent in terms of the combat that had happened anyway. So that's kind of perfect.
Pretty much as we burst in, I point at the farmer and I say, "Pray to whatever it is you find holy," and I move towards the window to look out towards the goat farm.
He just starts. He's Friar will recognize he's starting to utter a prayer to the one true God, very rapidly, very frantically.
Friar's up against the door, trying to look for a bar to bar it somehow.
Start piling up some furniture or whatnot across in front of the door, and you see it get real dark in here. The lantern's light doesn't
Shit.
emanate
Shit.
forth.
No.
It gets
Is
cold.
praying. Friar's praying.
You're just praying and praying and praying, and it feels like an eternity, but at some point, the light from the lantern comes back on, and you can see again, and it is quiet outside. Kind of hear it stalking around a bit, but it seems like maybe it's gone. Farmer Marrow just looks to you. I think the worst is past. Our prayers has been answered.
Not gonna respond. He's beat up still pretty bad, so he's gonna just kind of nod. And I think at this point he will take time to look out the window. He's not opening the door yet. Like he's looking out the window, seeing what's there.
You see that in the pen, the bodies of Lillibeth and Silver laid out in the muck of the goat pen. There's a number of dead goats as well. Probably heard their like bleeding calls just after Lillibeth fell. But no signs. You're looking for, it's very hard to detect whether there's like some orb of darkness out there, but you don't see the active presence of the unicorn.
Friar will begin to slowly unbar the door, and he is going to peek outside the other direction to see what he sees.
You just see the very still line of the forest to the east. There's just something that tells you that is probably where the unicorn has withdrawn to. Like, just given what you have heard from Farmer Marrow, he had suggested he thinks it is coming and going from a mound that way.
He would wait for Thomas and his brother, and I think together, once they're all together, he would try to bring the bodies to get the bodies inside.
Sounds good. So
I just see like horror, like this is gonna be like a jump scare or something that's about to happen.
yeah, like when you go out there to go and take a chance at bringing them back in, it is totally like stalker movie, like, the serial killer is somewhere out there and he can see me, but I don't know where it is. But the unicorn does not come back, luckily for you. And so you managed to drag the bodies back. And thanks everybody for the rerolls. Thanks Galaxian for that reroll. Yeah, so at this point, Farmer Marrow, at this point, given what has happened, any protest about having you stay within the home is no more, and he will gladly kind of make some tea, make some food and such. You are relieved to see that both Lillibeth and Silver are breathing, and some miraculously had survived that encounter. But
I see the scar on Silver, and I just kind of shake my head, and I'm beginning to make the prayer. But then I see like Lillibeth's just like mangled face, and it's like caved in a bit, and I'm just like he's heartbroken. I think he'll talk to his brother, and they'll maybe think that if it were to come back, the best person to have aware and awake at the moment would be Silver. So I think at this point he might attempt to try to cast a Cure Wounds on Silver to get him back up.
okay, and that's like in the morning, right? Or do you have another?
I have
Cure
two.
Wounds?
I
You
have
got
two now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So just
So
as a
I'm gonna-
reminder, there's a chance of failure because your
Yeah.
God hates me.
Well, maybe not. Maybe he's
That's right.
coming around.
It's coming around. Can we reduce the chance of failure?
Maybe the hate was really only coming one way, and the God
That's
was
true.
really.
The hate was
Me
the
hating the
friends
God, yeah.
we made along the way. All right. So I'm rolling. You roll it. You have to roll d6.
Yeah, so I roll the d6. It's a 2 and 6 chance of failure. Remind me, Alex, is that a 1 and a 2 fails?
If it was me rolling, that's how I'd resolve it.
Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go. Yeah. It's
All right. I'm praying. A tear kind of in my eye. Ooh, you get a 6, so you get 7 points of health.
I'm all the way back to full. I was at -1.
The one true God is going to allow this blessing because it was a fairy on fairy crime, and the other fairy.
You were the virtuous fairy.
you were the lesser of two fairies.
I still
Add
beat
that
up
on the
Friar.
character sheet.
He'll reach down and with his hand help you up to your feet.
Yeah. Did we get it?
No.
We did not.
And he'll kind of gesture over to Lillibeth, who's she's alive, but
My God, I've got nothing to help. I was looking to see any kind of potions or anything. Well, I'll immediately try to tend to her and try to like stabilize her and and just do what I can to. I mean, I know, mechanically she's going to make it, but looking at her doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it was a pretty nasty trample to the face. You're thinking, I mean, she might be in a coma for all you know. She's breathing, but I mean, it's one of those things at this point, at 0 hit points, it's like critical condition. You're not sure
Yeah.
that there's anything that you'll be able to do, at least until the Friar's magical healing comes back.
Yeah, purely just for flavor. I
Yeah.
just trying to help.
But that's that's just kind of the situation where you're probably going through this night wondering, will Lillibeth make it?
Yeah. So I'll like prop her up and be like, look at the farmer and just say, she needs to rest in a bed. I think you understand.
Yeah, you won't get any protests from him. He'll help to bring her over and lay her in the bed.
Cool. So I'll put her in the bed and try to like, just, I mean, I'm sure we're all tending her because in this chaos. And I'm looking at the Friar too. Friar, you said you're still banged up?
Yeah, he's looking pretty hunched over, holding on to his rib, his side. He's pretty messed up, but he's not saying too much about it. He's wincing, but he's being quiet about it.
Yeah.
Now we did not, other than Silver, we did not really see what that creature looked like, right? Because it pretty much
That's right.
came in darkness.
Yeah.
I would want information from Silver. What was that creature? All I saw was a ball of darkness.
Well, it was, and I guess I'm seeing it in infrared, right?
Yeah, but you could see its outline, and maybe just from the images, you could kind of see it had this vision of like bleeding eyeballs in like hollow sockets in its head.
Yeah, I'll describe that, and it's it was definitely some sort of magical darkness. I could barely make it out, but I can see my elvish fairy eyes. I give the farm dirty look. They allow me to see a little bit more, and I was able to make out some, but yes, definitely a unicorn. Only 4 legs, not like the one that you had. 4 legs like a unicorn, not the Naglord and not a humanoid. And yeah, bloodied eyes, which and I gave that thing a good hit. I hit it square on the neck, and it shrugged it off. Tough little beast. But that's it. It happened very fast.
He would look to the farmer and says, I'd hate to remove you from your house, but it might be best you come back with us. I don't know if it's safe out here for you.
This is my home. This is my land.
Yes, and in due time we will return and get it back for you, but this is your life.
I'll tell you what, I'll have him do a reaction roll, and we'll see if he's open to that. Do you have a charisma modifier?
I have a 12, so I'm not sure
Okay,
if that. I don't know if that is.
If he had one, I
think
would
it's
have
3,
applied
right?
it to this, but he stubbornly says, "No, friend. I will live and I will die here on this land.
You won't get any more argument out of him. He's gonna just nod.
The one true God saw me through this night. He will see me through many more. I place my faith in him."
Oh, good.
Would we have heard the screaming of goats as well? I mean, did the thing go back and start
He did.
decimating some of the goats? Okay.
Yes, like the rest of the goats are slaughtered at this point. So I guess the good news is there's no more goats to like mess around with. So maybe he is safe here, and it is some other farmer that is going to have a problem.
Well, you guys need rest. I will sit up all night, let you guys get whatever sleep you guys can, and I mean, I'll take watch and just make sure that if I see that globe of darkness come back, I mean, that's about all I can do at this point.
All right. So we're going to move through the overnight. In the morning, Friar, you get your spells back and such.
Okay. Beforehand, would we receive a hit point or no?
On this evening, I will say everyone except Lillibeth gets a hit point. Lillibeth's wounds are such that she's not really resting. She's just barely alive.
Okay, that's good. I'm gonna give myself back one, and then as soon as I wake up, the prayer would begin. Lillibeth. Lillibeth, you get 4 hit points back.
Lillibeth, you're waking up in extreme pain. This
Oh.
blessing from the Friar is really enough to get you awake and such, but your face just feels shattered.
I can't talk. I can't talk.
Yeah, so
So I'm not going to lie, Lillibeth, it's pretty rough. You took a pretty heavy blow to your face.
It's a good thing. I don't care about that.
Lillibeth, do you still have a bit of health you need to recover, or?
I feel like I'm half here.
Okay, I think he will cast. He'll double down and pray. He'd rather see you start feeling better than himself at this point. So.
Can I try and stop you?
Oh, you could. Yeah, I think he won't. He won't. He'll just continue to pray. It's not much. 3 extra points of health for you.
It nulls the pain a bit, and even though your face feels like it is irreparably changed and altered, the swelling goes down, leaving a big scar.
Feeling a little better.
I'll give her some water and some food.
Oh,
The upside, your hair is still growing in nicely.
well, maybe I can just pull all of the hair once it gets long enough, and it will cover the side of my face. It's still going to be hard for me to talk, though. So, what happened?
Well, we tried to fight a powerful beast, a corrupted unicorn. Unicorns themselves are no joke, but one that's evil and projecting darkness, magical darkness, from its rotten heart. It was quite the challenge. We were overmatched.
If only we could have seen something. I mean, it was just like, it wasn't paying any attention to us. Well, kind of.
I was preparing to cast a light spell I've been told it would have hopefully remove that darkness so we could see what we were fighting, but I feel like it sensed it and charged at me. We are not. He's gonna kind of shake his head, He's like, for a moment I felt we were strong enough to face any dangers that this land threw at us, but we are still weak. He's just a bit looks sad and deflated.
Oh,
I look at it as more as ill prepared.
time plan. Silver, and I'm gonna go take a look over and note his scar too. Is that real, or is that part of your curse?
This thing, and I've got like one of those, like when you do like a character creator and you can like put the cool scars on. It's like one of those like right across the face, but in a cool way. I took a blow to the face as well. I think it actually increased my charisma score.
It's
Sorry.
kind of rakish. I like that.
Yes.
Well, I've had my share blows. My glamour and fairy ways help a bit, but I'll reveal like I'm missing like a row of 5 teeth in the back of my mouth. So I totally, I commiserate. You'll survive. And be stronger for it.
And
Anyway.
It would seem I just keep becoming more and more pretty around you, and I kind of
The minstrel, the way with words, of course.
So you are, taking a little bit of time to heal up magically and such, but what are the greater plans for the group going forward? This is pretty cramped quarters. It was like fine to stay here with the farmer for the one night just to take shelter from the beast, but probably long term this isn't really like a great spot for you to be resting up.
Right.
I suppose we could go back and take more information back. We know more than we knew before we got here, that's for sure.
We fought and lived to tell the tale. I think that would buy us something, at least some loyalty. Or proof of loyalty. We performed the job, but the beast was more powerful than we had expected. I'm sure that if we share that will do us some good.
Right. And then we at least know, we don't really know how it shows up, but we know what happens when it shows up.
We know it's extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
And then it snuffed out light. That lantern was, I was unconscious when it happened. Never mind.
Well, and then it becomes their problem. There's got to be somebody here. Surprised the drone is doing something about it.
Well, as you can hear, there's a lot of chaos on my end, so this might be why don't you guys, we'll take a break and you guys figure out like what your plan is and what you want to do so we can skip to some action or something to explore or do. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us this morning. We're just going to take like maybe a 10-minute break and we will be right back. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. For Dolmenwood, we are following up with the group after a pretty nasty encounter with a corrupted unicorn. And we were off screen, they were speculating all sorts of things, so I felt like we needed to bring us back on so all that speculation can like happen on screen. But basically, and I will flip us to the Dolmenwood Overland map here. They are currently talking about heading back. Both Silver and Lillibeth are a little banged up and in need of some rest, and so they're heading back to Langshorn, which is, easily accomplished within the same day, the morning of waking up on the 31st of Chisting. And though you are all fatigued, tired, and beaten up, worn out, you make it back. You travel overland through the pastoral lands and the farmlands that surround Langshorn and make it back to town. And I think the first thing that you wished to do was to leave a report with the Burkmaster. Is that right? So you make it to his manor home, and his staff, upon seeing you and understanding the assignment that you had, immediately summon him, and you all meet together. This time, in maybe less of a formal situation, he meets with you in the parlor in his home. So you're in this chamber that's well appointed with the sigil of House Malbleet, and there's a fireplace. There is a stand where there are tobacco pipes laid out, and it seems like are kind of there for your enjoyment. And the Burkmaster, this kind of plump man who is the mayor of the town, you can see that he's kind of coming in. He looks like he's like unshaven. It's like a weekend day, so like you're coming in like it's like not business hours, and so he looks a little unkempt or whatever. But he comes in and he says, "Well, I'm very eager to get your report and hear all about how things went. Did you manage to slay the beast? Do you have something to show for it?"
We did not. It escaped, and we almost lost 2 of our members.
Oh my.
But we chased it off, and I'm drunk, and unfortunately, I keep forgetting this, but we gave it a big blow, and it just ran off into the woods, tail between its legs.
He's listening to you talk, and you can kind of see him not so subtly, like stopper the decanter, or the puts a lid on the decanters and like kind of hands them off to his staff. He's like, indeed. Well, this is quite the tale. So it evaded you. Well, what do you recommend we do next? Or are you willing to go on the hunt?
I'm always willing to go on a hunt, but we need more people, and perhaps another cleric, another friar, a person who is holy.
Yes. Well,
The nature of the beast at this point is undetermined. The only one that was actually able to see it had magical capabilities, is our friend Silver here.
Silver, what is your assessment? Is it within our means to defeat? If you had these extra resources, do you think you could kill it?
Well, I managed to wound it for sure. I hit it squarely on the neck. It didn't halt, and it gave me quite the blow, and I point to my little scar. So it's a tough beast, but I think if we could dispel its darkness, and if enough of us surrounded it, I feel like we could take it down. I think the real challenge to the creature is its ability to blind. So I think it's possible, but we need some solution for that. Someone who has either the ability to dispel evil magic or the ability to illuminate magical darkness.
And just a quick shout out. Thank you so much for the follow, Elemental Rage. Appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. The Burkmaster says, unfortunately, the only other cleric that I know in town is Father Egwin Dobby, and I'm not sure that he would be much help. I think it's a little too much to put on him to go out on an adventure such as that, but we could definitely see about hiring.
Good. If not a cleric, just some extra help. As long as I was preparing to cast a spell or a prayer that would dispense this darkness, but it sensed it and instantly attacked me. Maybe if we just had a few more layers of people between me and it, maybe we might have the upper hand.
Well,
let me ask this, because I do think that is a good way to approach. Maybe there's no other friars, but are there any wizards, magicians that we know about? Someone who maybe specializes in spelling magic. Is it even a thing in School Essentials? I thought it was. Maybe it's
dispel
not.
magic is a thing, is a spell.
Okay, great.
but he would say he is not aware of, like, they don't have a local wizard or anything like that. He
No rumors of
probably
anyone.
references that, Farnham Ribblemead is a sage and is like interested in such things, but he doesn't believe is actually learned in magic. Of course, he would say, if you were to travel to, say, the High Hankel, just to the south, there you could most certainly find people of such prowess. But in terms of hiring retainers here in Langshorn, you're going to be pretty much limited to like warrior, roguish types or types.
Okay.
But he will get down to business and he will be very frank with you and say, I believe we had set aside 300 gold pieces for your reward to deal with this situation. That is what we have collected from the town and from some of the farmers to deal with it. We could, if you are feeling that you need extra protection, we could use some of that money to hire on some extra hands, but this is all that we're able to muster without going directly to Lord Malbleet and asking for extra assistance, which is a task I'm not super eager to request of him at this time.
It strikes me as odd. I mean, there's this magical being eating goats out in the hinterlands. Why would anything want to terrorize the hinterlands? We're not from around here. Maybe knowing a little bit more about why something like this might show up, if you have any thoughts on that.
I was hoping that you might be able to ascertain that.
It just seemed, trying to drive the farmers off their land would be the only benefit that I could see to this. But why? Just all this, why?
So you suspect a conspiracy, Lillibeth?
I don't know about a conspiracy. Why? The farmers have been there. Obviously, they've been there for a while. It just seems odd that such a creature would suddenly decide that it was hungry for goats.
You can just see like there's like a nervousness in the Burkmaster as you're talking, like you're approaching the edge of talking about the word conspiracy comes up, like almost like he's uncomfortable even being around such talk, and he like is trying to be like, oh, who could know what the nature of this thing? Probably it is the Nag Lord. No, you said you've dealt with such things before.
This was not the Nag Lord.
Did look somewhat like the Nag Lord, though. I will say there's a passing resemblance.
There was a bit of corruption, maybe something corrupt in the forest.
Had there ever been rumors before of unicorn in these woods?
Well, no, not that I am aware of. I mean, generally speaking, there are, of course, always tall tales of unicorns being sighted out in the woods, but nothing like this. It's usually a sign of some take it as a sign of a blessing or favor from the land of fairy, those that are not superstitious in that way, but not like this, not savage creature.
Is there anything in the woods that you could imagine could possibly be a source of corruption? A barrow or a battle site, something there?
Based on what you say, the farmer believes that it originates from one of the barrows out east here, about the burial grounds of the goat folk.
It's true. I forgot about that.
But Lord Malbleet is a Bragel?
Lord Malbleet is a Bragel, yeah.
So it seems odd that any, of course, malevolent things attack humans and human settlements too, so I probably shouldn't expect Bragel to be exempt from Bragel on Bragel ghosty business.
And wasn't Bragel Town?
No.
Or
I mean,
okay.
Now Langshorn isn't really a Bragel town either. Just bear in mind, it is the dominion of a Bragel noble house, but Bragel are the minority here. It's just that the humans that live here. Many of them have some very distant, maybe Bragel blood. And he'll be kind of like, so you think that this unicorn is attacking as a result of? It is a direct attack on Lord Malbleet? This is even worse than I thought.
What did you think?
Well,
Listen.
If this gets out that it is an attack on him, he will point directly to me as being responsible for allowing this to happen.
A light bulb has gone off in my head, and so I say, or it could be attack on you. In fact, I think that, yes, and I think this could be very serious. It would be in your interest if we guarded you tonight. Just tonight. Just to be on the safe
He's
side.
like
We need to rest.
hypervents.
I'm remembering that we want to look
Putting her
explore.
hand over her face at this point to hide what might be really an ugly smile.
And you see him, and you only pick this up because you have some intel from Sirtel, but you can see that his eyes kind of glance up to the ceiling for a second.
Possibly you have something here that could draw the creature. Maybe it's best for us to be here with you. Friar, you're wise in the ways of evil beings. What do you think? Can you give an informed religious opinion?
He's gonna just stare at you as you're bringing him into the shit. Yes.
It's certainly
Yes.
possible, right?
I do want to, like, as the conversation's going on and his attention turns, I do want to look up to the ceiling to see if I can see anything that would be in his.
No, it's just more a nod. Maybe there is something in the attic that he is hiding. I think that was the rumor that you got, that he's hiding something in the attic.
Right.
So I think upon hearing that, Silver, he kind of like comes to you almost like, yes, stay with me tonight. If you think that I would be very appreciative of the extra help, and I will keep my guards on high alert.
What I could say is Silva is very adept in dealing with this creature, for sure.
I'm able to see it with my fairy eyes.
So he will all of a sudden like kind of want to leave. Like he'll say, I have some business to attend to. You stay here. I'll make sure that you are well fed here tonight, and we will post up upstairs. Then he withdraws. You're
Go
alone
over.
in the room.
I'm going to give Silver the equivalent of whatever Dolmenwood high five might look like. That was brilliant.
Possibly. That's step one. We're in. We get to stay here tonight, but what does he got upstairs? He's clearly worried.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't push it, but I just thought it might be interesting to be in the position to potentially eavesdrop, even at the least, just talk to some of the helping hands.
Sure. So throughout the day, you're more or less going to behave in terms of like you're not going into any places where you would not be welcome, but you're talking with the staff and things like that. Any particular things that you want to approach with them or talk to them about?
I don't really have a plan for what we'd like to do. I just wanted us to be here and have again, I'm trying to get him to trust us and be willing to let us be part of the situation. So I think it could make sense to talk to some of the servants and maybe see if they go upstairs with extra plates of food, or if there's something else going on, if they hear weird noises at night. But really, I kind of think it'd be good for for Thomas, since he's the minstrel, and this is kind of, he's a bit of a roguish type, that he can kind of think through how he might want to approach the intel gathering.
Yes.
Okay. So anything you want to add in on that?
Well, pretty much what I could do, I guess, is offer my services to play some music and I guess bring a little bit of joviality to the evening, while at the same time utilizing the ability to charm the Burkmeister and perhaps ask him about this stuff, that he would be more amenable to give over information that he would not otherwise. So
Sure. You've got like an ability that allows you to charm potentially.
by playing music and singing, I can fascinate subjects. Basically, up to 2 hit dice of creatures per level. They basically are then fascinated.
Got it. Okay. So I think we will like kind of fast forward. It's more like evening time, maybe just after dinner. You're playing some music. You post back up in this same like kind of parlor area. Seems like that is where he is like the most comfortable and such.
I'm gonna say the Friar is not even hiding. Like he has no problem eating this man's food and drinking his wine, and he thinks he's relatively safe here, so he's gonna be just drinking, and he's almost gonna be sitting next to the Burgomaster, just toasting him and cheersing, and not even like doing anything of the sort of trying to protect him, because he's kind of trying to recover a bit. So
The Burkmaster is smoking kind of frantically, like he's going through quite a bit of pipe weed. And he has been drinking a bit as well. Sometime after maybe like the third or fourth song, Thomas, he says, That is beautiful. My nerves have been calmed. I feel at ease with you all here. And I've been thinking a bit about what you have brought back from out there regarding this unicorn, and maybe I have a different task for you all. I need your help. I have some supplies I need delivered. Someone out in the woods, a cottager that I have a relationship with. I can't say much more than that, but it is very important that this be done.
Is the way fraught with danger? Why would you
No, no,
not
no.
not trust a regular drover with this task?
It is important that no one knows it is coming from me. You see, if you have a cart and a wagon, I could give you a list of things to buy. I will pay for it, of course, and pay you. Say, well, and he kind of lifts up a little pouch that he has, and he shows you some gemstones, like 10 gemstones. Quick glance, you're thinking that could be worth maybe easily 400 gold pieces. Give you this.
Seems is very important to you.
It is. It is very important, but I am paying you for your discretion. I fear if I tell you much more, it is best that I say as little as possible.
Does this, I mean, you came to this conclusion based upon what we were dealing with. Do you fear that there is some connection between this creature and whatever the supplies that you require taken to the cottager?
Yes. Well, let's put it this way. The cottager there, it is not true that I don't know any wizards. There's a man out there that I have a relationship with, and he is attending to a task that must be done. I need to feed him. I need to keep him supplied. Perhaps once his duties are concluded, maybe he can help us with the unicorn.
Did he say to feed him?
Feed him, yeah.
Got it.
The list that he gives you is pretty mundane supplies like rations, water, oil, firewood, these kinds of things.
To be fair, we have some of it in the cart. Do we have to tell him?
No. Interesting. So you think he may have knowledge of this creature?
Maybe, but if nothing else, he may be able to help out. He may be an extra hand. If we're dealing with something that is a fairy and is as dangerous as you say, perhaps an additional light spell, an additional bit of arcane magic might be the difference maker.
We do need, yes, I'd say a light prayer spell might be extremely useful.
How long is this trip? Where does he reside?
He resides to the northeast. About a day's travel. You know where you're going. I can provide directions.
I say that sounds like a fair plan. It helps us with the original task, potentially. Can't see any harm in it, other than the fact that it's secret. But, feeding people doesn't necessarily have to be secret, but I get it. I understand. Prayer.
He's like Kevin Wine. I feel like I must rest, but it would put you at ease, friend, if we did this for you. And he's talking to the Burgmeister.
It would. I was thinking about looking for another crew to do this, but I think maybe you are the right people for it.
At the risk of being forward, is that all that is on your mind, my friend? You seemed nervous before when we were giving our report.
Oh, yes. I mean, it was a horrifying story that you told me about the unicorn and what it almost killed the two of you. And the idea of it attacking here in Langshorn is just unfathomable.
You have goats here?
Well, of course, market day, it could be devastating to the livelihood of our people if it showed up unannounced on a market day. And I mean, already it has ruined the livelihoods of many out in the countryside.
Well, I can understand that worry too.
These rumors are spreading wildly, you see, and my reputation is at stake. Everyone is looking to me to solve this, and I'm trying to keep the panic to a minimum. I think you all returning alive, I might be able to sell that the beast has been dealt with, at least momentarily, but it is only a matter of time before it strikes again.
Yes, I do. I do think that there is a little bit of urgency. So, but yeah, so getting extra help, getting a little bit of chance maybe to rest along the way. One really good night of great food and wine, and for some of us, pipe weed can't hurt. If we're voting, I'm voting yes.
I agree. I would like to throw out there one thing. When we were beset upon by this creature, we did not have, I guess, much in the way of intel that we could have been better prepared. Taking this cart of supplies out to your friend, I just wanted to make sure that there's nothing that you wouldn't be telling us that we may run into.
You will take the road north of here. It will lead you past Redwraith Manor, but I as long as you were just looking like you were taking supplies up north a ways, I don't think you will have any problems with any patrols or guards or things like that, and it would be just a short distance into the woods. I should think it would be a relatively easy task.
Very well.
By the way, the wizard, his name is Meridwin. He'll tell you that he lives out there with his wife, and his wife's name is Annabelle. Meridwin and Annabelle Skimes.
And is she trained in the arcane arts as well, or
She is not, no.
how often do you take these supplies to him?
I try to get him enough to last him the month.
Now, is this the same woods that this creature was in? Right.
It would be to the north, so kind of opposite direction. And so he's also telling you that this taking the road, which you pretty much need to take the road to take the wagon, but it will draw you pretty close to Lord Malbleet's residence. And so that's like the one threat. He says, it's very important that he not know that this is coming from me. If you're questioned, we don't know each other, but there's nothing particularly incriminating about these supplies, so it should be pretty easy for you to talk your way through any patrols or anything like that you encounter. And then you'll continue to head past Redwraith Manor to the north, and he's going to give you some landmarks about like when you should start to cut east into the woods off the main path. So he would say, try to get the cart concealed a bit under the tree cover, but you might start having to like haul supplies through the woods. And so this might be like, all in all, this might be kind of like a week's worth of travel, delivery, and then return.
Right.
So,
Well, if it will help us deal with this creature, and help the people, I'm sure, which is what you are worried about as well, right? He's gonna just kind of look at the Burgmeister, nodding. Yes.
Of course.
And then, yes, I will be there to help this.
So, with that said, you are going to sort of be given, lodgings and whatnot here. So, no cost necessarily for being here. There'll be a small cost in terms of you still have to pay the 4 silver a day for the cart to be lodged or whatever, but I'll take that off of, I'll take that off Geoffrey's stuff because he's got kind of the coin purse. But some of you are still damaged and wounded, so we will kind of play that out as far as how much healing you get each of these days. So this is for the 31st of Chysting. You all gain 2 hit points back.
All right. I think at that point I might cast 1 Cure Wounds on myself, keeping the other one. Okay, so I'd be back up. I'd be back up to full with that.
I'm up to full as well.
All right, so that will take us into the morning of first day of Lillibeth.
This is a great month.
Still summer. Do you need to rest longer?
No, Friar is feeling a lot better.
Silver, you're well.
Yeah, I only have 5 hit points, so I got full health after the first healing.
All right. So, with your goal in mind, you will be given this shopping list. We're not going to necessarily play through all of that, but you'll go and obtain all of the things that you'll need to load up the cart with, and set off to the trail to the north. At some point, you will see a road that splits off the main highway here that's heading north, and there's like sort of a little switchback road that winds through a woods and up to a kind of raised piece of earth where Redwraith Manor stands pretty prominently behind a stone wall. It looks pretty uninviting, I would say. The iron gates and the stone wall have big spikes that are kind of adorned to the top of them to prevent anybody from climbing over the wall. And it looks very overgrown and sort of just all of the trees that kind of line the path that lead up to the hill, and even some of you could see like vines kind of clinging to the walls. It just looks very, very, very unkempt. But that is not your destination. You probably can see a few short-horned guards kind of standing in front of the gate from afar, and they're kind of eyeing you warily as your cart is, trudging along and heading north. So I'm going to roll a d6 just to see if there could be any complication here.
Fateful D6.
Right. No complication.
Okay, I was gonna say I wanted just to say at this point the Friar would have brought along a new member to the party. At this point, I think the Friar would introduce the rest of the group to Benny, the hound dog. Or it's a bloodhound. Kind of eyes are like just bloodshot. Little bit of, I'm gonna say there's a little bit of like he already has a little bit of a gray mask on him already, but he's a good dog. He's doing well, and I think he's gonna travel along with us.
Sounds good. So a little bit of information that the Burkmaster would have given you about how to get to this place. He's going to tell you, basically a full day's journey to the north along the road. Maybe a little shy of a full day's journey, but there is a goat folk, a Breggle town called Shagsend that is along this road. And he only mentions it to basically say, if you miss my directions and you get to this town, you've gone too far and you need to double back. And so the landmark that he is telling you to look out for is that there are 2 stumps of felled oak trees, like massive ancient trees that had been sawed down long ago, that kind of form almost like you're to pass through the 2 stumps, and if you could continued east, eventually you should pick up the trail of the cottage. So I think maybe to resolve this, I'll say that there's a possibility you don't catch it, but let's have maybe Lillibeth roll your tracking chance of success.
Okay, let me roll my tracking chance of success. I don't know how to do that on here, so I'm just going to go ahead and use D100, and then it'll be a percentage. Does that make sense?
Yep. So D100, and because you kind of know what you're looking for, it's going to be a 75 or lower is your success on that.
Okay. Here we go.
Perfect. 1. So you spot it as soon as it comes into your view as you're traveling north. And so from here, you know that you could pull the cart some distance into the woods and that would be fine. But it's going to be near impossible to make forward progress with the cart very far into the woods. So you can just kind of get it far enough that you might be able to get it out of sight of anybody coming and going on the road.
Do our best to camouflage it.
With all of these supplies, is it possible to leave the cart here and unhook the horse or the mule and pack the mule up? And
Yeah, that would be possible. You'll still be slowed a bit with just the pack animal, but you could kind of use it to kind of help make the deliveries. And maybe we'll say you have to with the animal, if you load it up, maybe 3 trips back and forth. And this might be like something that in theory you could accomplish yet this evening, but
Sure that
you
Alfie
probably
does-
need to make contact with the house and kind of know where you're going first to start doing that effectively.
I don't want to pack in and miss the house. We need to make sure that Apu does not stay with the wagon. He has to come with us. Otherwise, we will be out of rations and God knows what will happen to our tools.
Agreed.
And we need to introduce him to Benny.
Do you think Apu could ride Benny? I'd like to see that.
That would be
Everyone's
fun.
now mad.
But I don't know if Bannister would.
Give him a little dagger and have him like ride in to combat.
Benny the duck.
Well, we have to introduce them first. So let's see how they get along and see what happens. And maybe Apu can convince him. Or Apu will say, no, I don't want to do that.
So
I am going to also make the suggestion that the first trip, I will stay with the cart. I mean, I think somebody should stay with the cart. The last thing we want to do is come up here and lose all this stuff. So I will hold tight here while you guys find out where we're going.
sounds good. So you
You're probably the
coax
loudest too as a minstrel. So like something happens, just like bellow.
Right.
So Lillibeth,
Drumming.
you coax Apu up and out of your pack and are just gesturing towards the mastiff or whatever. And
Feeding a little bit
the
and saying,
bloodhound.
look, a new friend. A new friend, Apu.
And the dog you could just see is like kind of standing up and like kind of backpedaling a little bit. You're trying to take in what should happen here, but Apu very aggressively and eagerly kind of like bounds over and jumps onto the dog's back, and the dog is It's kind of like growling, and it just seems displeased.
I wonder when Gary Gygax made D&D if this is the kind of thing he was thinking would happen.
I'm
He
sure.
was.
I'm sure.
I'm absolutely positive this is what he was thinking about. So I can tell I'm a Friar. I can tell that Benny's maybe not nearly as happy about meeting Apu as Apu is about meeting him.
It doesn't seem so, does it?
No. So I'm gonna try and coax Apu to come back. I said, so maybe Apu, you can give him a gift. Like tonight, you can give him a piece of meat and he'll be happy to see you. Are you going to stay on top? Do you going to stay there?
Whee! And the dog is again just like a dog that's tolerating a toddler, like just trying to keep its composure and not. But it's like kind of looking a little pleadingly at the Friar, like.
I should also amend my statement because I think Gavin Norman would definitely be okay with this. I think that this is an acceptable outcome.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're being too friendly. Bannister, come here, boy. Come here.
Trudges over, and you can just see Abu's like pulling on the ears, like wee.
Oh, Apu, no, you're hurting him, and that's not good.
Pats him on the head.
Yeah, pat him a little bit more, and maybe rub right behind his ears. He might.
Okay, that's enough. He's going to try. Friar's gonna try to like bring Apu off of Bannister. He's not gonna.
I'm gonna reach back out for Apu too. I'll hold some food.
Bye-bye.
It was worth a try. Try it again.
Maybe if we get maybe a larger dog. You'd see the bloodhound like this older dog. You could see like the back has a little bit of a bow in it already. It's like maybe not this poor dog.
Yeah, I think throughout, just as we're going forward, Abu is gonna poke its head out at times as you're traveling and just make little faces at the dog and generally be sort of little brother antagonistic towards it. The dog doesn't appreciate that. He's an old soul, and they're just clash of animal personalities, these two.
Well, hoping for better, but at least Apu won't be bored anymore. So come on.
So are you loading up one of the horses to go with you in search of the house, or gonna wait on that and leave the horse with Thomas?
Wait with something to show where we're from for real, because why would they just let us in? I wouldn't just let us in.
Maybe we wouldn't bring the horse with us the first time. I would say maybe we all just, those of us that are going, carry maybe like just a small portion of rations or something, just a small part to trudge up the trail.
Okay.
Before we bring the horse out.
Okay. So should we say Sir Geoffrey stays with Thomas? I think that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep.
So Silver, Friar, and Lillibeth, you start to head out east in search of the cottage. It's probably like about 4 p.m. as you're starting to make your way out there. And so you're trampling through the woods. There's sort of like an unofficial trail that you kind of pick up on where like clearly like some effort has been made to kind of clear out branches and underbrush and things like that. But you're only really finding this because you were searching for it and you got the demarcation from the Burkmaster as to where this was. But you start to make your way forward. Maybe after about, let's say, 30 minutes of travel, you come to a small wooded dell where you see a one-story thatched cottage by a stream. It kind of reminds you of being back at the Droon's cottage. Like it's kind of this kind of cutesy cottage. There's a pleasantness, a rustic pleasantness about being out here. And thank you very much for the follow, multiculturalist James. Appreciate you hanging out with us here this morning as we're playing some old school essentials and enjoying Dolmenwood. If you aren't familiar with Dolmenwood, you should definitely go and check the Kickstarter out. Here's the link to that. I won't say much about it right here, but you can go check it out. So you're coming across this scene. You can see the windows to the cottage are shuttered. And there's a garden that shows maybe some signs of neglect just off to the side. Kind of like the northern side of the cottage.
Well, Friar, you seem the most trustworthy of our group.
Yes, okay. Shall I go forward?
I think so.
All right. He will begin to move forward and even announce, hello, greetings.
So as you move forward and start calling out, and how close would you say you get to the home?
I'm going to say we are 20 feet, 30 feet out,
Okay.
just calling.
So you move forward. Maybe there's like a little well there. You get like as close as the well. And in between you and the home, as you're calling out, kind of hoping for the wife or the wizard to show up, you can see that there's kind of littering the ground in front of the cottage are little squirrels and rabbits and rodents that are dead, almost like strangled. Like some of them have like their heads are kind of like crooked. Many of them look not fed upon necessarily, but just like dead, rotting.
Yes, he's going to take a step back and look to Lillibeth and Silver and go, "Oh no!" He's gonna. I think he might look around. It looks like just around this house, there are multiple just small creatures just killed.
Yes, off to the sides of the house now as you're looking, dozens.
Oh boy, I had a feeling. I don't know who we will be dealing with.
A sadist. I can only assume there's no animal that would leave such a display other than mankind.
Okay, Silver. It's been count.
Friend, this
Well, let's
bothers
not-
me. You know, obviously it bothers me too. Okay, I've had my taste of squirrel stew, and I enjoy it. But I'm saying this here, I don't understand.
I would like to go ahead and I'd like to do a tracking check, not to track anything, but to see whether or not this is coming truly from the cottage or if this is coming out from elsewhere and being deposited at the cottage.
Oh, like they've been like flung out or something.
Like it's coming from the wood. Yeah, it's basically to annoy the people in the cottage or threaten them.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
So
I feel like doing
Um,
forensics on like the placement of all the creatures.
yeah,
I'll
whether I
figure
can
that
tell whether it got ported in or,
Okay.
yeah. So same thing.
Basically, what you determine as you're kind of looking upon the scene and you're investigating these bodies is there seems to be something. You find the tracks of like something that has marred the dirt in the ground that seems to come from the front door of this building, and it seems like your best guess is whatever it is emerges and then is attacking these creatures as they are entering into the front yard. Actually, let's say not the door, like it's coming from a window that is currently open, like it's just like ajar a little bit, like maybe a foot.
Okay, so whatever is attacking these things is coming from inside the house, probably out of the window, which makes me worried about the people who are supposed to be inside the house.
It's not they just are leaving these creatures out here. And maybe they don't get out much, obviously.
Could be a security measure, something that you automatically trip if you walk into that zone. Some sort of a spell.
Friar's still alive. I'm alive.
We haven't stepped further. Maybe we call their names, possibly, out from here. You'll take another step a little further back, just because, even though, he sees that it's not that big, right? It's not that big of a hole from the window and whatnot. But still, he's going to still be like, we'll stay back here. It's just, I know it's this horrible thing, and it's just a cat. Like,
I was taking out my bow, and I'm actually readying that as a readying action, because who knows?
So he will call out Annabelle and let me see the other name, just Merdwin. Annabelle, greetings.
So first of all, thank you, Corey, for the subscription. 51 months in a row. That's a big number. So thank you so much for the support all those months. Thank you for the DM reroll. And you guys are calling out the names Meridwin and Annabelle. Friar, describe again your position. Did you get closer to the house?
No, I actually
Further
took
away.
a few steps
Okay.
back.
Okay. So you're calling out. There's no response. Lillibeth, are you pretty much with the Friar or drawing closer, further away?
I'm trained on the window at this point.
I'm sorry, you cut out on me.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I am next. I'm a little bit behind the Friar, and we have the bow trained on
Okay.
the window. At this
Okay, so no response.
Well, we can't just, I mean, we could camp out here. We could eat all the rations. We could do a lot of different things, but what do you want to do?
No, we need to get. Hello. I think maybe he would find a rock of some kind and toss it at the door. Hello.
It clatters against the door. Silence. But then nothing.
I was about to say, Apu, you want a ration?
Yes, Apollo. Yes, come out.
No,
Yes.
definitely not. Definitely not.
Apu goes and
Well,
like
I mean-
scrambles towards one of the squirrels and it's just like, "Meow."
Don't go any further.
Well, I should say one thing to consider: only rodents are dead. I don't see any, people. So
Well,
maybe we're on the side.
yeah. Maybe can we circle the entire?
It like I said, it is not a big cottage, but
Mm.
your best guess is there's probably at most maybe like 3 rooms in there. So you circle around. There's only the one entranceway into the house.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep calling, like as we get try to get the side of the house and be like, "Hello, we're here with your supplies."
How close would you say you are to the house?
Well, so when I go out on the side, do I see dead critters? Is it like a radius? I wouldn't go into the ring
We'll
of
say
dead
it
critters.
is. It is like on the. Let's say the entranceway is on the west side of the cottage. There
Mhm.
would still be dead critters on the north and south, but not so much maybe on the back, like away from that open window.
So on the back, as soon as I realize when I see there's no dead critters, I will approach the house.
Okay.
And be like, "Hi, hello, we have your supplies. We're bringing a delivery."
Roll a d6.
Is it a good D6 or a bad one?
I don't know.
I retreat. No.
Oh no, it's a one.
That's a one.
So as you're calling out and you're kind of listening for any response, now that you're a bit closer to the house, you hear from from somewhere inside the home, and it's kind of continuing, like it's an ongoing thing. It isn't like a response to what you were saying. It's just that you're close enough that you can hear this now.
I mean, and just to make sure I'm interpreting, like a snoring, sleeping sound, or like a groaning, like
More like a
pain
groaning
sound?
or a moaning, and it seems muffled and almost agonizing.
Huh.
And maybe that's probably the right moment to end the session, is on that note, just so we can get, hopefully, Geoffrey up to speed as to what is gonna, because this will probably take us into like a session. So, yeah. So, something is not quite right here at the house of Merridwin Skymes and his wife Annabelle. But we'll dig into that probably the next time that we play 2 weeks from now.
All right, very fun session.
It was very
Fun.
That's scary. I feel like I'm learning. I was reading some of the YouTube comments, and they're like, "Winston's character dies a lot, doesn't he?" I was like, I'm not gonna walk into that ring of animals because I know, even though I really want to see what happens.
We almost had another one today.
And Lillibeth too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
that was
Thanks
tough.
for the rerolls, chat.
Thank you. That was tough because Moreen wouldn't do that, but Lillibeth absolutely would.
Yeah. Appreciate you trying to help. I would I was totally I was already thinking like, okay, so me and Moreen both die. What's our character concept gonna be? I was working up something when that happened. All right, what if we came back as 2 Braggle hunters? Like anyway.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
But I don't want to die to like do that yet. Quite.
Yeah, no. We gotta make it. I want to level up sometime, one time, Let's get to level 2.
It's not going to be that session.
Mm-mm.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
We'll get there. 1,500 experience left.
Yeah, just one good pull on a treasure haul,
I mean-
and you could definitely make
I
it.
could be there.
Totally, we really could.
So yeah, I was like, yeah, I didn't really prepare anything for this session because I'm like, I have no idea to know all I know is that there's going to be a fight with the unicorn, and I don't know what the outcome of that is, and whatever the outcome of that is could pull us in 5 different directions. Didn't really foresee that we were going to necessarily go here, but that was kind of a fun. I think I guess if we're going to open things up to appreciation and gratitude, or gratitude, where we mentioned something that really made the session a highlight for players, I'll take a turn here because I want to say that I thought it was really clever how Silver spun the conversation with the Burkmaster to realign what your ultimate goal was which was to curry some favor and trust with him, and it paid off big time by this quest that you were on is definitely probably going to lead you to learn something about what his scheme is. and you've done so without, making an enemy of him, which, you had gotten access to his house, and it was totally possible that somebody was going to sneak around and try to snoop, which probably, carried the potential of burning the bridge. And so you're playing the long game, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I was actually gonna toss mine over to Chris for the whole just playing up the minstrel and like using his a class feature too, and a role playing class feature to get everyone kind of like on their side. It made a lot of sense. I thought that was really well delivered, and that was fun to see. So actually, because I was telling someone the other day that I have a weird thing with bards. I don't really like bards in 5th edition because I like the concept of a bard, but not them being magical. You know what I mean? And so I love the minstrel class in Dolmenwood. It's like exactly what I want out of a bard type character. And so it was great to see you play that up, Chris. That was cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just all about making people like you.
Yeah. That's what I like about it. Like that more like a roguish traveling musician kind of vibe. It was cool. That was my gratitude.
Thank you.
So my gratitude would be for that interplay between everything. So it took both of those things to get us to where we are right now. And so it is the interplay between characters, and in this particular case specifically between Silver and Thomas, that worked so very well for this session. So thank you both for picking up from each other and the whole context and moving it forward so very well. It's great gameplay.
I'll throw out appreciation to both Winston and Moreen for getting up and playing it up. That you guys got messed up. I guess that's kind of what made it memorable for me. This is long lasting stuff that's happening here. So
Yeah,
character changing. So
for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing. You've very immersive, especially coming from the point of view of someone that's just trying to keep everyone alive. It's always, that's like my character is just like always like at edge when it comes to things like that. So having this happen so much, it's just like it drains him. So it's good to know that. I mean, I'm happy that everyone is still okay.
Yeah.
Besides the fact, but that, and obviously the Friar is a bit hesitant to even move forward through this. And I'm thankful for the rest of the group still pushing ahead, because Issac definitely wants to. I definitely want to do this, but the Friar is like, he's like, whatever. Like he's trying to find a way to spin it in his head so that it'll be worth doing. Yeah. So I thank you for moving it ahead, and I appreciate you, Alex. You're running this game, and I feel like I don't want you to feel like you have to like feel pressured or anything. You have, when you have noise in the back, I think that it's okay. It's fine for us, and we're having a good time. I don't want you to feel like you feel like anxious or anything about it. Like we're happy that you're running it for us, and there's no issue.
Well, I appreciate that. It's more or less I'm thinking about all of the work that I have to do on the back end to edit it. I'm like, let's call it a stop here, so that'll save me like an hour later.
That's fair.
That is fair.
And for not really planning anything, to off the cuff almost have a TPK. It's some good work there.
Good on you.
Anytime. I do it for you guys. So
I knew it was going to be bad when we didn't have Ryan here today, and we're going into combat. I knew it was going to be rough. I don't know if it would have helped much, but yeah, it would have been rough.
Yeah.
With that
darkness.
That is brutal.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, if he was in the way, I would have been able to dispel that. Like I would have been able to get rid of that darkness.
Yeah.
But
that initiative roll is like so important, because I would have been the difference maker. Like you guys maybe would have taken it if that had gone off. Well, thanks everybody. We will be back in 2 weeks. We're going to try to be back in 2 weeks to play another session and see this through. Again, we are playing Dolmenwood using the Old School Essentials game system, but there is of course a Kickstarter with Dolmenwood to be used as a kind of modified version of OSE that is out there that you can check out. And so I'd encourage you to do so. If you're in the chat here on Twitch, there's the link. Go check it out. Go support the project. We have been having a lot of fun with it. About a year now we've been playing this campaign, I think, and I would venture to guess we've probably got as long as we want really to adventure through this. This content will be never ending. So, and that's with the Kickstarter coming out, and they're going to be having a third-party license. So people are going to be creating content for Dolmenwood. We will never be done. We will never be bored unless until we say we're done. So check that out. If you were watching us for the first time, go check out our other Dolmenwood videos on YouTube, or you could catch this. It's also a podcast, and I edit that down so it's like more bite-sized. If you don't want to watch the full session of everything we do, you can go check that out. Yeah. We've also got a community campaign that you can be a part of. So if you want to join that and sign up and play in some of our community campaign games, join our Discord server. We would love to have you. That's where people can sign up for the community campaign. They can also, we do a lot of the recruiting for all of our games through there. So join that. If you really, really love what we're doing, you could support us financially by checking out our Patreon. Check that out. There's some perks for doing that.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
So fun.